Welcome to your Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, and today we're coming to you from MainStreet BookEnds of Warner, where they are building a community one book at a time. MainStreet BookEnds of Warner is a family-owned independent bookstore serving this New Hampshire area since 1998. They share a strong commitment to community, children, teachers, local artists and artisans, local authors and illustrators, and all who enjoy the wonder and excitement of reading the printed word. This week, we'll hear from co-owner Katharine Nevins, who will report to us on the Warner Fall Foliage Festival and happenings here at the bookstore. Jean Connolly from the Center for the Arts will give us a preview of their upcoming events. Laura French from the New Hampshire Telephone Museum will give us a look at their 2023 events. And we'll close with Danielle Thompson from the Warner Historical Society. But first, these messages from the good local businesses that are underwriting today's show. Remember, buying local is an important way to sustain the communities we love.
NCTV programs are underwritten in part by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating Oil, Propane, and Motor Fuels, with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning, and backup generators. Their friendly, highly trained, and certified staff is available to assist you throughout the process. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer in New London since 1997, and much further back as the Country Press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. LaValle Building Supply, serving homeowners and contractors since 1962. Whether you're an experienced builder or simply a do-it-yourselfer, you'll find what you need at LaValle Building Supply. Barton Insurance Agency provides local access to all your business and personal insurance needs, from auto, home, life, to business liability and related needs. Experience the hometown difference of Barton Insurance Agency. Baba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, for great land fare, seafood, sandwiches, and Baba's award-winning chowder. You won't be disappointed. They're having a lot of fun at Baba's Bar and Grill. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown newspaper covering the Kearsarge, Sunapee, and Sunshine region of New Hampshire. Online and in print, the Innertown Record. MainStreet BookEnds in Warner, an independent bookstore providing books, toys, games, cards, and gifts. With a gallery showcasing local arts and artists, MainStreet BookEnds in Warner. And North Cape Design Build. Thank all our underwriters for making your local programming possible on NCTV.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you this week from MainStreet BookEnds. It says it in the title right here on Main Street in Warner, and I'm now joined by the owner here, Katharine Nevins. Hi, Katharine.
Hello.
It's so fun to interview you in person, as we were talking about before this. Normally, you're thanking me from in the camera. Now we're next to each other.
We get to really meet each other and talk to each other in person.
I love it. I think we should do it all the time.
I do too.
Before we get started in talking about MainStreet BookEnds and the gallery, you have a Warner Fall Foliage Festival update for us.
Yes, and it's super important because the Warner Fall Foliage Festival is it's a staple for Warner.
It is.
75th was last year. This will be the 76th.
Yep.
It's extremely important because the festival not only is a ton of fun, but it is a way for all the community endeavors to make some money.
Yes.
You know, so all the money that's made from the festival goes back to the organizations. It goes back to different needs in the community. So it's really important, and it's a ton of fun. And we've been doing it for a very long time. We actually opened up the bookstore 25 years ago during the festival.
No way! What a good weekend to pick!
It was the perfect weekend. It's always the first weekend in October.
Yep. So like all nonprofits and big events, you need volunteers.
Oh, very much so. And we have a lot of new people that have moved to town. And this is a wonderful way to get involved in the town, to meet people. It's probably the best. We've all done it. We've all met people. We've all made our connections actually through the Warner Fall Foliage Festival.
Sure.
So we really need volunteers. And it's very, very important because this is crucial to our town. It's a ton of fun.
It is.
The kids grow up with this. They come back when they're adults. They come back for this.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's an institution for us.
It is.
So
if people are interested in learning more about not only the Warner Fall Foliage Festival, but also how they can volunteer, how do they do so?
I think the best bet is to go to the Facebook page for the Warner Fall Foliage Festival and let them know that you are interested in volunteering.
Yes.
You're interested in getting involved. You're interested in meeting people. You're interested in helping.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes, good. So we can see it succeed for another 76 years, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Shifting gears now to Main Street BookEnds and this gallery that we're so fortunate to sit in. Tell us the latest of what's happening here.
Okay, well, I really want to welcome you to the gallery.
Thank you. It's beautiful. It's so wonderful.
After all these years,
I know,
and now you're here.
Yes.
So we're really proud of the gallery because it represents over 30 local Warner artists.
All based in Warner.
Well, they're not all Warner, but if they're not Warner, they're surrounding towns.
Amazing.
So we have so much talent here.
Yes, we do.
So we are located, Main Street BookEnds is located in an old colonial on the main street of Warner. And this is the attached barn.
Very cool.
And as I mentioned before, we're coming up to 25 years, and we're so proud of our artists, and we're so proud that we get to showcase it with you, Abby.
I know. I'm so happy to be here and to take a look. I was browsing some of these amazing paintings. I think the really fascinating part is you have all different sizes, some really small, intricate paintings, some big ones that take up almost half of the wall. So really incredible artists that you have showcased.
It's pottery, it's photographs, it's watercolor, it's oils, it's blacksmith, it's a little bit of everything.
How often are you changing out what's in here? So if people say, oh, I haven't been in a while, would they see the same things or something different?
It gets switched out fairly regularly.
I bet. Yeah, you got to keep it fresh, right?
Got to keep it fresh.
So what else is happening? I mean, obviously within the title, Main Street BookEnds, we know you're a big bookie.
Yes,
and have a lot to talk about here on the shelves. Even into the gallery, too. You have bookshelves in here as well. So there's lots to look at. Yeah. What's new here at Main Street BookEnds?
Well, I guess the main thing I want to talk about is that we have a very wonderful book group that meets the first Sunday of every month.
Fun.
And the January one will have already passed.
Yep.
But February, they're going to be talking about The Invention of Wings by Sue Monk Kidd.
Okay.
It's a wonderful book. And they do all of these book groups by Zoom right now.
Oh, okay.
And then when the weather gets better, they meet outside or they meet at people's homes and so forth. But right now, it's all at Zoom. So it's you can go to our website and you can see the list. The next one in March is going to be the Book of Lost Names. I don't have that right here, right in front of me. But I did want to talk about April 2nd, which is the first Sunday in April. We're going to feature The Unexpected Forest. And this is by Eleanor Morse. And she's actually going to join the group by Zoom.
Ooh, that's so exciting.
She's a wonderful, wonderful author.
So you'll be able to ask her questions and talk about the book. Amazing.
This is an early book for her. She's better known for her later books, which are White Dog Fell from the Sky, which was a beautiful book, and Marguerite's Harbor. She lives in Peaks Island, Maine, so she's a local kind of. Yeah. And she talks about Maine a lot. Amazing. So this will be fun. So this is the book group that's very active here, and you're always welcome to join.
I love it.
Anybody can join.
And come and get the book from Main Street BookEnds.
If you come get here, you get a discount on it.
How about that? That's important.
And then because you can Zoom, you can live anywhere and you can Zoom in.
Or you can be away on vacation, whatever you so need. Yes.
Yes.
Katharine Nevins, it's always so fun to talk to you and hear everything about that's happening here, not only at Main Street BookEnds, but in Warner. You're a wealth of knowledge, so.
Well, Warner is a wonderful town.
I love it. And thank you so much for hosting us.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we return, we'll head up to New London for a preview of the arts events happening in the Lake Sunapee region. But first, these words from a local business that makes this show possible with their underwriting gifts. You too can take advantage of the tax-deductible donation to our partner, NCTV, and secure the local programming for the future in our area.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. There is so much to do in our region, especially in arts and entertainment. Let's now hear from Jean Connolly at the Center for the Arts. Hi, Jean.
Thanks, Abby. Yes, we have a lot coming up in 2023 that we can't wait to tell you about. But the first thing I'd like to do is congratulate the winners of the Teen Writers Project contest, which we've done for the last couple of years. It's been judged by Megan Baxter, a local author and teacher at Colby Sawyer College. And this year's winners are from Sunapee High School, Jenna Caron, Annalise Roll, and from Kearsarge Regional High School, Josephina Eiseltek, Luna Landers, Emma Garrity, from Proctor Academy, Elle Labrie-Lavallee, and from Kearsarge Regional Middle School, August Bates. Congratulations to all those students, and check the website for the award reception, which will be at New London Inn soon. Next, I'd like to tell you about the Tapestry Tuesday series, which is again happening at the New London Inn on the third Tuesday of the month at 5:30. We have a variety of literary and humanities speakers that cover all kinds of topics that I'm sure you'll be interested in. January 17th, Diana Lee Veely presents A Life Between the Lines, a half-century of her poetic journey. Veely reads excerpts from her 6 books of poetry written at different periods in her life, the most recent book being a poetic journey through Italy, with poems about her experiences teaching in poetry in Cortona, Canero Riviera, Al Lago Maggiore, and Santa Croce di Camarina in Sicily. And then on February 20th is Jenna Carroll, who is the director of the Historical Society of Cheshire County in Keene, who will present Jenny Powers, A Woman Who Dares, introducing us to the life and work of Jenny Powers with humane societies at the turn 20th century and the politics and progressive era from the local New Hampshire perspective. That will be followed by speakers Liz Centarelli, talking about votes for women, the suffrage movement, and Rebecca Rule, moved and seconded town meeting in New Hampshire. Also in January, getting back to the month of January, we have a special program at Whipple Hall, Abraham and Mary Lincoln, The Long and Short of It. This is a historical theater production. It's a wonderful production at Whipple Hall. Tickets may be purchased at Morgan Hill Bookstore, Tatewell Gallery, or online on our website. This again is January 15th, Sunday at 2 o'clock. That's to be followed in February by our first Friday gallery stroll. And we have a variety of artists at all of our different micro galleries. The opening receptions will be February 3rd. At the New London Inn, they'll be featuring artist Kim Schuessler. At Blue Loon Bakery, Susan Diabolino, and at the Bar Harbor Bank and Trust, there'll be a group show, which is a combination of the Center for the Arts artists in the Visual Arts Cafe and the Photography Cafe. There's always new art at the new Contemporary Gallery at the New London Barn Playhouse, which is in the foyer of the Fleming Center. And don't forget to check out the art at Tatewell Gallery and Candida Clayton Gallery as well. In March, we follow up our first Friday, which is the Colby Sawyer College Dance Club performance, which they'll be providing an array of new works of all kinds of dance, which will be at Whipple Hall on March 3rd. And that will be followed by another special presentation at Whipple Hall. We're bringing back the McGonagall Irish Step Dancers. It was such a big hit last year with a fully packed hall of audience members of all ages. So much fun to watch Irish step dancing. And this will be accompanied by the Sunapee Singers with some Irish music. And last but not least, I want to mention that the poetry contest, our annual poetry contest, the poetry contest opens in January and ends in March, and culminates with readings by the winners at the Newbury Town Hall Community Room. And the rules and guidelines will be posted on our website very soon. So we hope you'll check that out as well and join in the fun of reading and hearing local poets tell their works. This literary poetry event will also be sign language interpreted. So that's it for today, Abby. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you for consolidating all this information and encouraging arts activities and education in our region. When we return, Laura French from the New Hampshire Telephone Museum will join me for a preview of their 2023 events calendar. But to keep viewing your Yankee Chronicle, we'll hear from one of the fine businesses that underwrite our show.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from MainStreet BookEnds here in Warner on Main Street. And their neighbor just a couple buildings down is the New Hampshire Telephone Museum. If you've never been, go check it out. It is fascinating. I'm now joined by the Executive Director, Laura French. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
It's fun to talk to you. It's been a couple years, I think, since we've sat down and talked about the Telephone Museum, but it is one of those staples that's okay, I think I've seen a telephone before. And then you walk in, you're like, nope, I've never actually seen a telephone before, because you have it all.
We do. And we hear so often, why a telephone museum?
Right.
You know, when I tell people I work at a telephone museum, they're like,
really? Yeah.
But then when they walk through the door, I mean, we have one of our taglines is come see why people say wow when they walk through the door. And
Love
it's
it.
because they do.
Because it's so interesting.
It is. And
Yeah.
and the thing that we're excited about is we started out as a collection of telephones, a
Right.
very huge collection. But through the years, we've really realized how fascinating the history is, the impact that the invention had on the world.
And still does.
And still does, yeah. And so we've been evolving more from just a really cool collection
Right.
to a really cool way to learn about the history of it with a really cool collection to back it up.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. And part of that was the introduction of a new educational outreach program.
That's important,
So
right?
It is, and because for years we've wanted to share the information with schools, and it's not just the history of it. There's so many, the technical part.
Right.
There's so many ways that we could integrate with schools.
Sure.
But we just didn't have the staff or the
Right,
expertise or
right.
anything like that. So last year we made the commitment to roll this thing out, and
Incredible.
we put out an ad for an education coordinator, and we hit the jackpot with
Amazing.
Megan Hurley out of
Okay.
Bradford. She's been there less than a year, and I feel like she's been there forever. I mean, the
Amazing.
stuff that she's done. So we have tons more hands-on things. We have, she put together 5 what we call traveling trunks.
Cool.
So she can either send them to the schools or she'll go with them. Each trunk has a different topic.
Amazing.
From everything from, space travel to the history part of it to
Yeah.
World War I. And we've already been sending those out. And she's also put together, she did in the fall, and now we're in the middle of the winter homeschool workshops. And
Oh,
that's
important,
a series of 3
yeah.
workshops, and they're all around a certain theme.
Cool.
Our January one is sold out. So, I mean, it's
Perfect,
crazy.
yeah.
We knew there was a need. We just didn't have the resources, and now we do.
And before we got started, you said this is the 18th year?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, to see where it's come from too is just incredible. That you now have a staff and the governor's been right.
The governor's been there. Yeah, our phone booth is in the governor's in the State House.
So cool. So that it's really just taken off and really given this part of history that's just forever evolving to kind of this storefront, and it happens to be in Warner.
It has, yeah. And we always knew, our small staff, and we always knew it was a cool place, and a cool concept. And,
right.
And we really feel that the last couple of years we've kind of got that tipping point where other people are seeing it too.
How often do you get something new it might be an antique, but new to you? How often do you get something new for display?
Well, I'll tell you, daily almost, we get requests or people that have potential things they'd like to donate.
Something,
and, and sometimes there's some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a black rotary dial telephone
that you have.
We have 2,000 of already.
Right.
But then, last summer I traveled down to Boston. There was a guy down there that had a collection of 200 newer, like 80s and 90s telephones. Wow. So I went down there and picked all those up.
No way.
So that was pretty cool. And then every now and then we'll get, a really old historic piece.
And do you change the museum at all? So if somebody said, is it worth coming back time to time?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
One thing that we started probably 5 or 6 years ago was our special exhibit.
Oh.
And so every year there's one room that is completely redone. And we stretch the theme a little. It's not just telephones. Our very first one was all about computers.
Okay.
We did an art show, The Art of Conversation.
Cool.
So we're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I can tell you just a little hint of the one that's coming up.
Tell us.
I'll just tell you the name of it. It's called Colors.
Ooh.
And I kind of alluded a little bit ago to
Colors.
But
fun.
So we're still kind of working out the concept.
Yeah.
But it's completely different from anything we've done.
Well, and it's worth coming back over and over again.
It definitely
so we love to hear
is.
that.
And then with all of the other exhibits, we do have one permanent display that we might change a piece in and out here and there.
Yeah.
But we're always adding new things, really based on questions that we get from, visitors.
Right.
And if there's a recurring theme, like a few years ago, we put together a whole exhibit on telephone numbers. Sounds fascinating, but it really is.
It really is.
And we had enough questions about that.
Yeah.
That we were able to put a whole
fun and maybe something you would never thought of. So the point being is, go to the Warner Telephone Museum and take a look.
Go again.
Yeah, go again. Laura French, always so fun to talk to you. Check out your website for all the announcements coming up this year.
We keep that really up to date.
Great.
A lot of things are kind of vague right now for this year.
Sure.
But definitely check that.
Coming up.
See what we've got.
Thanks, Laura, for chatting.
Thank you.
When we return, I'll be with Danielle Thompson of the Warner Historical Society to look at who they are and what they have planned this year. But first, these words from another local business that supports your Yankee Chronicle. Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from MainStreet in Warner at MainStreet BookEnds in their gallery. Come check it out. Lot to see here. I'm now joined by Danielle Thompson, who's a board member at the Warner Historical Society. Hi, Danielle.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear about not only the Warner Historical Society, but some events that you have coming up. But first, I think most importantly, talk about just the Warner Historical Society as a whole, because Warner has a ton of history.
It really does.
It's fascinating.
It has a ton of history. We have 5 museums in our town.
Wow, yeah.
And really our mission at the Historical Society is to preserve and protect the history of this amazing town. It's to, drive interest and awareness of the history, to educate people, and to really make sure that it stays around for the next 100, 200, 300 years.
Forever. And the longevity here. I mean, we've talked to Katharine Nevins about the Warner Fall Foliage Festival. That's coming up on 76 years. I mean, that's insane that something for so many years has been part of a community, and it just goes back to talk about the history of Warner. It's incredible. Why are you part of the Warner Historical Society? What made you join the board?
See, I joined the board last year, soon after I moved to town.
Okay.
My husband and I moved to town because we kind of just fell in love with the area, with the small town. We went to view the property, and people were waving as they drove by. Yeah. No one knew us, but they were just, it was that type of community.
It is.
And I just wanted to be a part of it.
I love it. And then how fitting to join the Warner Historical Society. I love it. No, Warner is one of the most friendly towns,
yes.
and everybody has such history here, speaking of history, but their family has history here, and it really is such a great place to be. I've never lived in Warner, but have spent a lot of time here, so fantastic. Talking about the Warner Historical Society, when someone goes, what can they expect from their visit?
Well, we work in a lot of different ways. So we have a museum, the Upton Chandler House, which we're actually launching a new exhibit this summer.
Oh, exciting.
It's going to be all about the Davisville area.
Oh, good.
So we're really excited about that. Definitely check it out this summer. We also have a whole calendar of events planned for this year, more than almost ever before. We have our Torrey Hill Author Series, which we run each summer, where we'll have author talks, potentially even some workshops. But even sooner than that, even in a few weeks, if you'll join us at Reads North, we have a fundraiser happening on January 18th with the theme Skiing Through the Decades. Because actually Warner is pretty historic for a lot of reasons, but did you know that it's actually the site of America's first ski train?
No.
Because, back in 1931, the first ever ski train came up from Boston to Warner. So we're kind of honoring that with some themed drink and menu specials, a raffle, giveaways, all of that. I mean, we've got events planned every single month. We've got a cookie walk on February 12th at the Town Hall. We've got pictures with the Easter Bunny. We're going to be bringing back the annual pancake breakfast at the Kearsarge Maple Festival.
Cool.
I mean, we've got something every single month.
Well, and it's so easy, I feel, in Warner to partner with other businesses and organizations. Just coming into MainStreet BookEnds and getting a book off the shelf that you can use for some exhibit. I mean, that's the benefit of being part of this community, really on Main Street in Warner too, that there's so much to just kind of fall into and collaborate together.
Oh, there really is. And I mean, with the 5 museums, there's so much we can do. There's so many farms and local artists, and there's just so much. And we really will be partnering with a lot of them this year to do a lot of fun stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure, only being the start of January, there's a lot of the year left, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff that pops up throughout the year that you'll want to make sure the public's aware of. What's the best way that people can find out more information?
Yeah, follow us on Facebook.
Great.
That is we post kind of up to the day updates there.
Great.
I believe it's just the Warner Historical Society.
Great.
You can also find us online.
Yep.
Or on the Warner Town page.
Great.
But really, probably Facebook is the best way to find out and become a member. It's just about, it starts at $20. Become a member, become a part of your community. It helps to upkeep historical buildings, to upkeep traditions, to reinvest, to educate, and really to keep this wonderful town of Warner happening.
Amazing. And you're a perfect person for it because you came here and here you are, loving Warner. So
yeah, I don't want to be anywhere else.
Fantastic. Well, Danielle Thompson, board member of the Warner Historical Society, great to meet you, and thanks for all the information.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'd like to thank Katharine and Neil Nevins for hosting us this week. They want to provide the community with a friendly local bookstore that meets all your reading needs and also reflects the amazing talent of our local writers and artists. Next week, we'll be back here in the gallery. Tune in to our live basketball game of the week on TDS TV 13 and 1013, NCTV 8, Apple TV, Roku, and at ycnnow.com next Tuesday, January 17th, for the Kearsarge-Stevens girls and boys doubleheader starting at 4:54. All of our games are replayed on Sundays and Mondays at noon and 7 p.m. anytime on ycnnow.com. Check out the program schedule at ycnnow.com for the most up-to-date information on games and replays. Join us again next week at the same time for another round of your Who, What, Where, and When show of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region. I'm Abby Peel. Stay safe, everyone.